Hello everybody, and welcome to this week's update video. My name is Martin and I'm an Inkscape developer and I develop features and fixes for everyday Inkscape users. Welcome to these updates where I talk about some of the work that I've been up to, usually in the past week or two, but I haven't actually given you a video in the last 4 weeks. And this is because I've been on holiday for a week in Vermont, which was very nice. I got to relax and recharge a little bit. Which I hope you all got to do during this summer and or winter if you're in the southern hemisphere. So the way this works is my work on Inkscape is funded by you. My users come to me, they subscribe to my Patreon, they sponsor me on LibrePay, and they tell me what kind of things they want Inkscape to do. And then I do it. Programmers can be quite expensive to hire, and so by collecting all of our funds together into one pool, you guys are able to hire me, effectively, to work on Inkscape on your behalf. This gives you a measure of control over what happens in a free and open source project. For the past 2 years or so, I've been set the task of developing Inkscape towards supporting CMYK color management to properly be able to export PDFs, which is done, to properly be able to handle SVG color management, which is done. And now we're working on the renderer itself. And one of the reasons why I don't have a lot to show very much is because the renderer will not work until it's all done. And a lot of it is just a bunch of mathematics, and a lot of it is, should we say, dealing with the assumptions of a bunch of other developers that have gone before about the fact that surfaces are all 8-bit channels, that they're all RGB, that they're all basically one format. And now I'm challenging the engine to be able to render, interpolate, and do lots of other things using floating point, using 128 bits, 32 bits per channel. Using full CMS, LCMS, and there's just a lot of moving parts in a very complicated system. Currently, the past week has been going through the filters code, and it looks as if there are about 3 or 4 different strategies that have been used over time to develop filters that can apply to a surface memory. The problem with having co-evolving similar but not exactly the same functionality is that you end up with the same assumptions being baked in several times. And now I have pulled on this thread, I now have to refactor quite a lot of code. So it's taking me time. Also, I have to kind of get my head around some of the concepts. Not being a mathematician or a computer scientist myself, but an engineer, it's useful to brush up on some of the concepts that I probably missed, and understanding what a kernel is, not that kind, understanding what co-evolving is, what bilinear interpolation is, all of these things that will be important to make sure that when they are being refactored to support this new color model stuff, they still work correctly. It's also worth noting that none of this has any tests. So I'll be writing it, but I'll also have to be writing a bunch of tests. In fact, I think I'll have to write those tests twice, because I'll have to write them first for the old code, right, to make sure that the results that the old code produces, and then I'll have to write them again for the new code so that the new code's results are the same, right, so that they don't deviate. Because if you're using RGB and I screw it up, then your blurring or your color interpolation will just completely break, and I don't want that. I want to maintain the functionality that we have at the same time as being able to expand it. So these are all in the weeds details, but hope you can see that I am progressing through the code, and I'm doing a lot of refactoring for the engine right now. There was a couple of things that I was interested to make a video of to catch you guys up for. One was this really nice gift that I got from System76. You can see there it's a metal decal for my laptop. I want to give a shout out to them for their kind gift. It's very pretty. I did actually have some more because they sent 4 of them, and I've lost the other 3. I don't know where they've gone. Oops. But I'm tearing the place apart trying to look for them because they're really cool. The other thing was the progress that's going on with the Google Summer of Code. So we have a bunch of students working on Inkscape this year for GSoC, and they're doing some pretty interesting work. One of which is some recoloring artwork dialogue. This is very similar to the color management stuff that I'll be doing, because there is a user experience that we want to be able to support, which is taking a document and translating it into another color space, so that, for instance, you can support translating an RGB document into CMYK and have all of the controls necessary to understand what is going to be a rich black and what's going to be a common black, and etc. That is looking pretty nice. Like, the user interface looks pretty, which I really I like, and it gives a view into the document's colors, which I also like. We'll see how that meshes into the color management stuff when I get to it, but I want to give props to the student for their work so far. There's also been a bunch of new work on the Adobe Illustrator support. That support obviously is reverse engineering the Adobe format, so it's taking time to pick out all of the various pieces. They've been recently doing the raster image support and some more gradient support. So all of that work, it's going to be a moving process, but hopefully for 1.4.3 we'll have a release with that new Adobe Illustrator extension. The extensions can be released with the previous versions simply because they're much better tested than Inkscape's actual code itself. So we're much more confident that it's not going to break things. What else has been going on? There's an India event. We've sent a bunch of people in India to the open source conference over there. They're going to be having hopefully a good time getting to know some of the projects in India. We sometimes will do this where there'll be a conference and people inside the project will ask for funding for the flights, funding for the hotels, and sometimes even tickets to enter. If it's not too expensive, then the project will fund it, because it is good for the contributors to talk to other people and have a network of free and open source programmers that is wider than just the Inkscape project itself. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. We've got a bunch of infrastructure stuff going on in the background as well, website stuff that I need to catch up on, and some Rocket Chat stuff and some GitLab stuff. It's one of those never-ending maintenance things. We've got to keep stuff running, and that's probably it for now. If you have any questions about some of the work that I've been up to, or some of the work that's going on in Inkscape more broadly, please let me know in the comments. One of the things that you can do, if you're not able to sponsor my work directly with money, because not everybody has money, please share these videos. Share my project for developing Inkscape for users. The more people that are aware of my work, the easier it will be for me to raise the money necessary to keep working and spending some hours, especially with some of this work, because I will start doing the refactoring and I'll start doing some mathematics stuff and some research stuff, and suddenly 6 hours have gone by and I'm like blurry-eyed and I need a coffee. This is like, time is just draining away from me, and yeah, it would be nice to be able to spend some more time on Inkscape rather than having to do other contract work. So I'll see you hopefully in 2 weeks' time. Thank you for watching my update video, and goodbye.